Oh, I know. It's fun.
All right. Hello and welcome to CellarPass TV. We are live from the Seattle area and we have some really wonderful guests joining us tonight. We have Acumen Wines as our featured wineries. We have the wonderful Diana Schweiger, who will be here to tell us all about tonight's selection. And of course, our special guest is none other than Chili Davis, the legendary batting coach of the New York Mets, who's joining us from spring break in Florida. And of course, as always, our rock star sommelier, Chris Sawyer. It's going to be a super fun night. We're going to be talking cooking and grilling and all things spring and summer related. And I'm going to show you a little bit how to do your very own sensory experience with things you can find right in your own kitchen. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit too. All right, well, let's go ahead and wait. You know what? I didn't introduce myself. I'm the Vineyard Vixen here at CellarPass, and I am so excited you've all joined us tonight. Now, let's get on with the show. Let's welcome Diana Schweiger from Acumen.
Feels like the price is right.
I know, right?
With Acumen wines.
Always right. Well, hey, cheers.
Yeah, cheers. How's everybody doing? It's good to see everybody.
We're doing great. How's it going down there in Napa?
It's going really good in Napa, especially since this is day 2 that we actually get to be open. So, yay.
Woo!
Yeah,
we're so excited.
It's really great. We've actually had a really good February. The weather's been nice, and being able to be open outside has been great. But it's going to be even more exciting to actually open these doors up to 25% capacity seating. We have a partner across the street, so we're able to serve food and legitimately be open.
Oh, I'm so excited! And so they can book those reservations on CellarPass, I presume.
Yes, they can. Got CellarPass back in business.
Yeah, we're gonna have an okay spring.
Much different, very different March. We look back from a year ago. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, completely different. Well, I'm excited you guys are open, and you guys are opening up something new, aren't you?
We are, yeah. Finally, it seems like about 9 months in the go. We've been trying to get this Type 42 license, and it took, what was going to be about 3 months, only took 6.
Oh,
but and then by the time we finally got it, it's going to be our Peak Easy. So kind of a play off of the 2 wines that we're going to be tasting tonight, which are Sauvignon Blanc, which is from our Peak collection, and the Cab, the Edcora, also from Peak. We've got 2 tiers, so Mountainside and Peak. And so we thought, we wanted to do this really special room where we have this French champagne partner now, and they have to enter through the back since it's a different type of a license. And so it's kind of like a little speakeasy type of a deal. So we're playing off the word Peak Easy.
Of course. Well, that's very exciting. And your partner is Michel Gonnet. Is that not correct?
We've got Michel Gonnet. He is kind of a parallel partner. It's a really good partner for us. They have 116 acres of champagne grapes planted over there in Epernay. So it's actually for a champagne producer, they're the largest producer that actually own their own vineyards.
That's incredible.
It is. It's super exciting. So we finally get to, we can actually seat 20 people in here total right now. So
that's incredible. Good job. Well, I can't wait to check it out when I'm back down there in April. So
yeah, the room I'm in right now, this is our Peak room. So we can have 4 people around this marble table in here for a private experience. And then over in the Peak Easy room, we can have 8 people in there, and then up front, another 8. And then of course, people out front. So
very nice. Well, excellent. So everybody, if you're watching, you can book your reservations at CellarPass.com. Get into that Peak Easy room because it's going to be an exceptional experience. And of course, they're located right downtown. So it's a great location in general. So that is so exciting. And you invited Chili Davis tonight. So he's joining us from, where is he at? He's in Florida.
Yeah, he lives in Arizona, but since he's coaching, a New York team, I got to have my buddy come here live from Florida.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm like, where's the camera? There it is. Clink.
Yeah.
Excellent. Clink. So how's spring break going? I heard that you guys had a good win today.
Well, spring training's going well. We're doing well. We've got a lot of young guys and a lot of new guys. Very exciting.
Oh, yeah?
We picked up Francisco Lindor, who's a little stud shortstop in the league, and great
Nice.
guy, you know, Hector Carlos Carrasco, and Trevor May and a few other guys. And we won today. It was, you know, it's sort of, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
guys.
8-4.
Watching. Yeah, it's sort of different, but the first 2 days we played 7-inning games, and today was a 9-inning game. And, you know, the team looks good.
That's excellent. So how's the weather treating you in Florida?
Weather was hot, a little humid. It's cooled down. We're in the 60s, so it feels really good right now.
Oh,
really
very
good.
nice and comfortable. Well, that's good for spring training, not spring break, as I said earlier. So what are you excited about with the coming season? It sounds like opening day is on track for to open up on April 1st, I believe.
Yeah. And for me personally, last year I opted out, so I worked from home. I actually worked from Napa.
Nice.
Too many people that, you know, there was a little jealousy floating along with the coaches here. But it's good to be back. Good to be around the guys. And, you know, our team changed ownership last year. It was sold to Stephen Cohen, who was involved with the team, partner in the team, and he bought the majority shares, and we've made a lot of good deals, great deals. You know, it's really exciting. Really exciting to come in here and see the characters, not characters, but the players that we have here. You know, very good players. It's all on paper. On paper, if we went out there right now, we win the division, but we still have to.
we have to wait and see.
Yeah. So,
well, cheers. Well, let's top off our glasses, and then we will welcome Chris Sawyer. Hey, Chris.
Hi, everyone.
Cheers.
Chili, so great to be with you again. Love hanging out with you.
oh, it's been a while, Chris.
It has been.
Wow.
We have such fun shows, and getting you back on here is always a pleasure.
It's a highlight. So, Diana, what are we sipping on right now?
So this is a really fun tasting tonight because it's going to be first our Sauvignon Blanc from our smaller vineyard, which is our Atlas. It's a little bit of a lower elevation. We've got about 32 acres planted over here. So we've got 2 blocks of Sauvignon Blanc over here. So it's 100% Sauvignon Blanc. And we're able to grow it up there at that 1,300-foot elevation just because of the cooler climate, the way we get some of the sort of foggy layers, oceans breezes that come through from the bay up in that area. So we make 2 Sauvignon Blancs. As I mentioned, we have our mountainside and we have our peak. So what we do with this peak is the winemaker, he takes the, what he selects from the best blocks. It's all barrel fermented and very neutral French oak. And it comes from the Atlas vineyard, as I said, which is a derivative of the word atelier, which is the French word meaning the artist's workshop, and then Atlas Peak. So atelier with Atlas. And so that is where that comes from. This is the 2017 vintage, which, Chris can speak a little bit more to this, but, considering Sauvignon Blancs, this would be a little bit of an aged Sauvignon Blanc. We are in 2021. So most people are drinking 19s, 20s. Well, we're not going to really have a 20 vintage. We actually have a bit of a 20 vintage because we were able to harvest before some of the fires.
A little teeny bit.
Yeah, but the way that this Sauvignon Blanc is made, it can be consumed a little bit later and as an older wine because of the type of fermentation that it goes through in barrel with natural yeast and all of that. So, it does go through stainless steel cold stabilization. And so as a result, This wine it actually, for Sauvignon Blancs, it's one that does round out a little bit more. And because of the barrel fermentation, it does soften up a little bit more as well. So it still has that nice crisp acidity, the jasmine flavors and everything that's going on in there. But it's a super special Sauv Blanc. We only made about 300 cases of it, so it's very limited.
Oh, it's absolutely delicious. I really love the floral aromatics you get off it. When it's a little more chilled, it definitely has more green tones to it. But then as it warms up a little bit, gets to like room temperature, then you start catching that floral, which is so beautiful. And it's such an easy drinking wine. This is truly one of my favorites. It's really been growing on me. Now you know I've been a Mountainside Sauv Blanc fan for a long time, but the Peak is really starting to develop into something truly, truly beautiful.
I think it's super classy. That's what I love so much about it, is it really does have that touch of class. And to me, the fig note, it's got that green fig. It's got some amazing apple character to it too. But it's making me think about springtime, and especially these great kinds of foods that we eat in springtime, these fabulous new kind of spring lettuces and with figs and these kinds of things that we have. Goat cheese would be fantastic with this. Oh,
absolutely. Goat cheese with like maybe a little Meyer lemon zest on that, and just, wow, it'd be so good.
Absolutely.
And just so our audience know, Chris is at an exclusive estate somewhere out in the middle of the vineyards in the Carneros region. So his internet's a little stuttery, so forgive him, but his audio is perfection. So it's very, very good. He's a lucky duck. And Chris, what have you been up to today? You've been doing something pretty special.
Yeah, today was the San Francisco Chronicle wine competition, day 3. We have day 4 tomorrow. And 140 wines a day for 3 days straight. My cheeks hurt from spitting often. That's where I'm at.
That's excellent. That's going to be a challenge, though. So, I mean, I know you spit, but how do you keep your palate? Like, how can you tell the difference between wines after 50?
We have so many snacks on the table there. It's a lot of just very basic cheese, some nice French bread, olives, green olives. And when we get into the reds, we really get into a little bit of roast beef. But it's a challenge. I'll tell you, this is the largest competition in the United States, the domestic competition, and the results will be out on Sunday. We're not doing the big event in San Francisco. You can't do that, but there are 5,000 plus entries for sure.
Oh, that's so exciting. Well, I can't wait to see the results. I always like to send out a blog with all the CellarPass clients of ours that are in the running. And when they get awarded, it's always fun to do that. So I'm excited, and so excited for you, because that sounds like a really great time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's really good too.
It's going to be fun. It's a good team. There's a lot of teamwork here. Believe me, our team of 3 has to go fast too. We don't really have time to slow down, and we just have to determine which are the best of the best. And it's a fun journey, but a lot of Zinfandel today, a lot of we did a Malbec flight that was like 50 Malbecs. Oh geez.
Wow.
It worked, and we had a Pinot flight and some other things today that were very, very good. We gave some very nice awards.
Oh, well, so exciting. That I really can't wait to hear more about it, and of course see who the winners are on Sunday.
Yes, on Graber olives.
I'm addicted to Graber olives. They're amazing. And they will change your palate, everyone. They will change your palate. They're expensive, don't get me wrong. For a can this big, they are basically about $9. You're like, oh, what? But it works. So it's fun.
I know. I was at Steve Poe's table when I was a judge for LA Food and Wine. And all of a sudden they put these olives in front of me. And I mean, I always thought that olives was something that was going to be bad for your palate. And so I was really surprised. And man, those things are so delicious. So yeah, a can of olives, they're expensive, but they do clear your palate.
Oh, that's very cool to know. So what's the name of Graber?
Graber, G-R-A-B-E-R, Graber olives.
All right. Well, there's an insider tip right there. When you're doing a little bit of wine tasting, have a can of your Graber olives. And
Absolutely.
I am going to check those out for sure because that sounds fun.
Riverside is where they're from.
What's
Where's it
that?
from?
They're from Riverside, California.
Wow. Okay. All right. So California, Riverside. Nice. Very, very cool. Chili, what are you cooking up with your wine?
Well, tonight, unfortunately, I'm not cooking anything. Earlier I stopped off at this little dive taco bar and got a couple tacos, and that kind of opened up my palate. I'm listening to you guys talk about Graber olives. I've got to give a little shout out, Diana, to this little wine shop here called Bottle Shop, because they do carry Acumen wine there, and they're in Port St. Lucie. And while shopping in there for wines, I picked up some blue cheese olives.
Oh, yummy.
Yeah, so I'm drinking the Sauv Blanc, and I'm wondering how well the blue cheese olives would go with the Sauv Blanc.
I bet really well, actually.
Yeah.
I think they would be pretty good. The blue cheese has that nice fattiness. It's a little bit sharp, but I think with the neutrality of the olive, that would probably be that'd be a party in your mouth with the citrusy flavors of the Sauv Blanc.
I agree. I think so.
I think you should go to your friends and play around with that.
I'm olives now, but I'm tasting it, tasting the wine, without even eating the olives. So, yeah.
Well, your olives can't be too far away. You should go get them.
Right behind me in that refrigerator.
So,
Although, Chili, I think last time we tasted Sauvignon Blanc, you were in your backyard by the putting green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was I having? I was having, I can't remember.
I know.
It's been a while.
Paired up really nice with the Sauv Blanc.
Yeah, I think we were doing the mountainside Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
And that one is the one that Anne ended up liking a lot too, your wife.
Yeah, we bought a couple cases from you.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
That one we paired the ceviche scallops tostada with the Sauv Blanc. That was so good. So good.
Good memory, Sarah. Such a good
memory. I
memory.
actually made those ceviche tostadas myself. That was a really good one.
And what did you think? They were pretty good. Huh?
Really good. Yeah.
And you, so our viewers at home, you can actually go on to CellarPass. In our blog, you will find the recipe for our scallop ceviche tacos that are paired with the mountainside Acumen Sauv Blanc, but would do perfectly with this one just as much. And there's all kinds of other recipe ideas and entertaining tips, tricks, and all kinds of fun things. Because I am all about entertaining my friends. It's what I live for. So when I'm not working and answering all of your calls and emails, I'm planning our next little soiree, which over the last year has been minimal, to say the least. And I can't wait to get all these vaccines going. So hopefully we can actually get out and start hanging out with a lot more friends really soon. So definitely looking forward to that. With our Sauv Blanc tonight, you don't see it here, but I am working on a island-inspired mango jalapeno grilled chicken. So it's been in the refrigerator marinating for the last several hours, getting super happy. But I worked with mango preserves and then blended in some like jerk spice, jalapeno, red onions, garlic, of course, because I'm a garlic crazy person. I mean, there's no vampire getting near me anytime soon. And so that's been just getting all happy in the refrigerator. It's going to go on the grill here in a little bit, and then I'm going to serve that up with cilantro, lime, cauliflower rice. So also to be posted on CellarPass on our blog in the next couple of days. So we will definitely let you know about that. If you want to see how it turns out, just check back because it's anybody's guess because I was making it up as I went today. So I can't wait.
Can you FedEx a dish to me here in Florida?
I probably could. Deep freeze it, throw it on dry ice, and send it out.
Yeah, because I think Chili, you were going to get a little more Sauvignon Blanc there because you need to, with your climate and everything there in Florida, you wanted to share some more of this with the manager of the Mets, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's a big wine lover. Louis Rojas, he's big into wine, and I'm trying to get him to kind of go up in his pricing, But the more I share with him, he gets on Vivino, and they rate the wine, and And every time I send him something, he goes, "Oh, that's 4.7 stars or 4.8 or whatever." So he's starting to trust my judgment of wines. He's starting to
Well,
trust it.
you got to
very
put
much.
him on CellarPass TV because we will rate that wine.
I do. I need to bring him on. I need to bring him
Yeah,
on.
you should. It'd be super fun.
He has his family out here, so and he needs a break. He's been probably the most busy of all of us.
I would imagine so. He's the manager.
He's very busy. Yeah.
Well, excellent. So, well, speaking of rate that wine, what are we thinking? Well, we're on mute.
Rate that wine.
Rate that wine. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Didn't play our audio this time, which is a little weird, but all right. So we're going to rate that wine. Chris, you go first because you've been rating wines all day.
Yeah, we're doing the 10-point scale again, right?
Yep, 10-point scale.
Well, this to me, I love classy wines, and I think this is really up there. This would be a 9.7 to me. It's really up there. It's like what we would be doing at the San Francisco Chronicle would be a double gold, and that's what this wine is to me. It's super sexy, wonderful, feels great in the mouth, great texture, great flavors, fantastic. 9.7.
Excellent. Chili, as a special guest, you're up on a 10-point scale.
Well, I know my wife Ann's watching this telecast right now, and she is the big Sauvignon Blanc wine drinker. I'm more into the reds. I can't wait for us to get to this Cabernet, but I'm right there with Chris. I mean, I do drink Sauvignon Blancs, and when it's a nice, warm, sunny day, and we're eating light foods, and I would give this a 9.7 because it does have that nice touch to my palate, and when it's floating down, you know, it's as smooth as can be, and you know, it's a really nice white wine, and I would give that 9.7 as well, Chris.
All right.
Good man.
Very good.
Billy and I very similar.
Ann will text me while we're on this telecast and give me her ratings.
Yeah, maybe she will. That'd be great. I would definitely go with a good solid, 9.6, 9.7 as well. This is class in a glass. It is absolutely stunning. Definitely, something you would want, to maybe serve for something a little fancier than maybe a Thursday night. But, I would say this is a great palate opener, and it's beautiful and so easy drinking, and definitely something I'm going to be enjoying for Easter brunch. There's definitely no doubt about that. I'm very excited about that. And
I was going to say, this is a great Easter brunch, Easter dinner wine. And I really appreciate all of the kind, high 9s out of 10s there. It's great. When we first released this wine too, we had a lot of nice publicity on it, which really, helped put Acumen that much more on the map. Forbes magazine actually had a nice article and ranked us as one of the new up-and-coming wines to watch out of Napa Valley, and basically said it's the newest shining star. Honest Cooking gave it the 65 best summer whites, rosés, and sparklers, and gave it a 97 point, noted its brilliant complexity. And then Jeb Dunnick, who's also a really, highly acclaimed wine writer, gave it a 92-point score. And then the wine advocate, Lisa Perotti Brown, gave it a 93-point score. And that's all out of 100. So
that's excellent. So right on par with our scoring.
Right on par with our scoring, yeah.
We're good, because the CellarPass ratings mean so much.
They do.
But they do.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Know that you can lay down a cab and age it for quite some time.
Yep.
How long can you lay a Sauvignon Blanc down?
Ooh.
I know
Chris, that's a great question.
I know with cabs, some winemakers pick their grapes early for a little higher acidity in their wines so that it can lay down a little longer. And there are other vineyard managers and winemakers that want to leave it on the vines a little longer, so it's bigger and fuller and fruitier when you open a bottle. Like I said, I'm more of a red guy. and my wife loves Sauvignon Blanc. Matter of fact, she sent in a rating, said you should rate it 9.8. Anyway,
Thank you, Anne.
Thanks.
how long can you lay a Sauv Blanc
Okay.
down?
Let me go into this, because what I was going to say too is a really special thing about this. In France, like we talk about, where does Sauvignon Blanc come from? And for me, I think about Sancerre. I think about that area in the Loire Valley where it's so it's very elegant, and there's a lot that have a little bit of oak on them. Remember that Sauvignon Blanc and Cabernet Franc are the mother and father of Cabernet Sauvignon. So, like, that's how they were married together. That's what the name's all about, Cabernet Sauvignon. It's because you put the two together. And so actually in that Sancerre area, and I really do, I would say that that is the most comparative of all the French wines that we talk about, would be with this style right here, because it does have that little bit of oak in there, but it's so nice. It just actually opens it up more. So because it does have that little touch of oak, you can go for like 5 years with this. And I actually love tasting these kinds of wines with a little bit of age. So I would say, 3 to 5 years, if it is done in this style, Chili, I think that that's a really good way to look at it. And it really does have all the acidity that you really want for something that's going to age for a while. So it's not like a lot of these Sauvignon Blancs out there in the marketplace are, hey, they're $15 or $10 to $15. They're meant to drink today. They're meant to be snapped up really quick first part of the year, and you just drink it. This one has not only this kind of grace to it, but it actually can be aged for a while. And I think that's a really, really great question you asked.
And Chris, on that note, when you do age it, what should you expect the flavors to kind of transition to as it ages? Because I'm sure it's not going to be like it is today.
No, it doesn't really oxidize as much as you start to get little kinds of secondary flavors that come out. I kind of was getting a little bit of mango in here, and you brought up mango, and I was like,
right.
But I think that the fig and everything, it'll soften a little bit. It's not going to be super as vibrant, but it will be more like an aged style. But you just pair it with different types of food. I mean, that's something that you could do with a fish dish instead of ceviche. Ceviche really has a lot of the acid in it.
Right.
Whereas fish dish would be, you could do a butter-based dish, with fish, and it would be great. It would be really sexy, wonderful, and just elegant and sophisticated after a few years in the bottle.
Sounds great. Thank you for that. That's really, really good tips there. And I dig it. And I love that I picked up the mango in it earlier. And I was like, yes, I know what I'm going to make.
One other tidbit on that is actually there was a Chardonnay one time from my family's property, and somebody had a 10-year-old Chardonnay. And this Sauvignon Blanc is made quite similarly to how that was made. And all we had to do was open it up for a few hours. And Chili, we had that conversation. You asked, do I need to open this Sauvignon Blanc up like I do the Cab? And of course, my answer was no, because it's, still kind of young. But I think as the older a wine like this gets, and Chris, to your point, the Sancerre, you would just want to open it up a little bit longer, for a little bit more time before you would consume an older wine like this. But it does have all the components, definitely the way that it is made, and also the way where we're sourcing the fruit, and the way it's so meticulously selected from the lots. I believe it's going to be interesting to watch this wine age. We only started making wines from this vineyard since 2014. So. Not a very long time. We'll only know in a few years what the longevity of some of the Acumen wines will be.
It's exciting, though. I mean, I think it's super fun to explore the wines, especially with a fairly new winery like yourselves, where we don't know, and that's what makes it the adventure, right? So, buy a couple extra bottles, lay them down, especially knowing that you can with the Sauv Blancs. I think that's really, really fun. Yeah. I do want to get to some of the questions that are coming in. So Jeff Alexander says, "Hey, Chili, lots of talk lately about millennials and Gen Z. You see lots of young players that fall into these categories. Do you have some players who seem to have discerning palates?"
Yeah, we do have some wine drinkers on this team, and as far as Gen Z and millennials, I think our ball club we have a great group of young players. I can't say enough about how much I enjoy being around these players, But we do have some wine drinkers. I'm trying to take them to the next level, Michael Conforto, JD, Dom Smith's getting into wines. He came up to Napa. He went and visited a couple wineries, spent a few dollars. I mean, a lot of these guys aren't making the kind of money that you see posted on television yet. They haven't entered into free agency, but they still enjoy sitting back and experiencing a really nice bottle of wine. So, and with me and Louis Rojas, because Louis, our manager, he's big into wines. He enjoys a nice bottle of wine. So I think as the longer I'm here, the more I'm going to convert the bourbon drinkers. And
well, if you're a bourbon drinker, I think wines, especially red wines, are kind of a natural fit. I mean, there's so much complexity in bourbon, versus, like a vodka or a gin, so just like straight up, although I can't knock gin. I mean, that's got a lot of complexity too. So it's probably a bad example, but, that palate, that warmth and the oak and everything is so similar that, I think it's just a natural gravitation.
Yeah. My assistant hitting coach has not transformed me completely, but have opened my palate to bourbon, really nice bourbon. And,
Yay!
And I've been sharing wines with him, and I know his wife, she likes wines as well, and she appreciates wines a little more than he does. So,
well, what bourbon are you finding is one of your favorites?
My favorite bourbon right now, we call it the brown water,
The brown water.
But I love Blanton's for some reason.
Oh yeah,
Blanton's is just smooth, soft, just a really nice bourbon. And it can be pricey. I had a friend of mine that went out and bought a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle's.
Oh wow.
Kind of big time for me. But Blanton's is probably the favorite of all the bourbons I've tasted so far.
Excellent. Very cool.
Yeah, I think that's great. I love Blanton's too. I mean, I think it's fantastic. It's funny that you bring that up, Chili, too, just because, Bochy, Coach Bochy for the San Francisco Giants, he loved Pap Van Winkle. He loved that stuff. And we did something for him at Jordan Winery, and he brought a bottle.
Wow.
And I got to take a little sip with him. That was a really fun thing. But, hey, bourbon is great too. I've always written a lot about spirits, and I think that where we've gone with spirits is really amazing. And I think Blanton's is a really good example of a really fine one. It's for grown-ups. I mean, it's not, you're not putting Coca-Cola and
exactly.
Yeah.
No, this is when you're actually experiencing the spirit itself and its purity and understanding, the different nuances that are there, just like a really great wine. And while we were talking about the San Francisco Giants, Mike says, Chili, I will always remember you as a Giant. Love to get your take on some of those great Giants hitters from the 80s.
Were you looking at one?
Yay! Talking about big hitters.
Tell you what, Mike, I can't say that I'm a San Francisco Giant fan right now because I work for the Mets, but I will always love the Giants because they were my first team, and when I first got to the big leagues, the owner, Bob and Connie Lurie, were like two of my favorite people, and they still rank very highly with me. And San Francisco opened my eyes to Napa. Hadn't I played for the Giants, I don't know that I would have experienced Napa as early as I did in my life. And I'm very happy for that because I totally enjoy drinking my wine. We just got through talking about bourbon, but I love wine, And the one regret that I have, not regret, actually. The one thing that I think COVID slowed down is the ability to have not a large gathering, but sizable gathering, and open up your large formats.
True. It's really hard to do that with 2 people or 3.
Yeah, I have large formats, but now I have to wait to open, and they're ready.
They're ready. They're ready. They're itching to open. Well, maybe this summer we can all reconvene in Napa and have a little bottle party.
Can you just really quick tell a quick story about your first field trip to Napa? Who brought you here?
My field trip to Napa. It's gonna go with Diana.
Wasn't it Cruco?
My Cruco was the person that introduced me to red wine.
Yeah. Okay.
And I remember living in Emeryville, right outside of Oakland, right by, right on the bay there, and being there in an off season and being a little bored and decided I need to do something. And Krookie said, you need to go to Napa. It's only 45 minutes, an hour away. And I got in the car and drove up to Napa, and thus started the spending.
Or the lifelong friendship.
Yeah, very, very good friendships. I mean, I love Napa. And the thing about going to Napa and experiencing all the different wineries is that, and I probably said it before, that you go to a winery and they're sending you to another winery. And they're sending you to another winery. And that's how I experienced Napa. If you like this style, go here, try this wine, try that wine. You would think that the winemakers, the vineyard managers, the winery owners are all in competition up there, but they're not. They're not. It's like, it's a family up there. And if there have been groups that come in, very wealthy people that come in and buy property and start wineries. And it's like being a New York Yankee. I'm sorry, I know I'm a man, but when you become a New York Yankee, they don't conform to who you are. I don't care how big a superstar you are. You're conforming to the Yankee way. And when you come to Napa as a winery owner and a winemaker or whatever, you're conforming. You're building friendships. It's an agricultural environment there, and everyone's know everyone, and everyone participates in whatever is going on there. I just entered there was just an auction recently that I got into, and to see all the different wines in this auction, and this auction was to benefit the charity. And this is what Napa is all about. This is what Napa is all about. They care about the people that are there. They care about their community. And everyone knows everyone, and everyone wants everyone to do well.
This is true.
It's a great environment.
We all kind of know each other, even if some of us kind of fly outside of the Napa Valley ring. But we all support each other, and of course, always want to see each other thrive and succeed. And this past year, I mean, I know it's like, it's been a series of years from like 2014. The last 6-7 years have been a challenge after a challenge after a challenge. And each vintage, gets kind of a nickname. The 2020 or the 2017 vintage was like the resilience, vintage because of the big fire that came through then. And then had we only known that, there'd be another one, not too far behind, and and then COVID, so it's like, gosh, there's so much perseverance and love that just goes through the growing community and the winemaking community. And it's really fun to see being on the personal side. I mean, there's just so much support that goes out, and you can just see it every time something happens, all the hearts and open, and everybody's trying to help each other out. So it's one thing that I have really come to appreciate growing up in that industry, and of course, working in it. So I'm very excited about that. And Jeff says, hey, Chili, when you open that big format, give him a call.
You got
it. But hey, talk about big hitters. Let's talk about this Ed Cora.
Yeah.
All right. So the Ed Cora. This is 2016, and this comes from the Ed Cora Vineyard. So this is a pretty famous little vineyard that we own. It's the largest of the two. So if we were to walk a half a mile down the road over from Atlas, where the Sauvignon Blanc comes from, and about just 400 feet up in elevation, that's where these grapes are all at. And so this has a blend of, some other grape varieties in it that we grow over there in the Ed Cora Vineyard, but it's 85% Cab. Ed Cora gets its name from the rare red diamond that was in the Smithsonian. And the reason we decided to call this vineyard the Ed Cora after the diamond is because the soil is so red. And if you were to actually walk through there with white tennis shoes, they would come out very dusty red color. It's also super rocky. And of course, the diamond is a rock, and the huge boulders that we're constantly having to basically, have our own quarry up there for, planting more vineyards or, overall expansion requires us to constantly be navigating that with D9s and D10s. And that's one of the things that our viticultural team is constantly having to battle. But what it does provide is excellent natural nutrients and really good drainage. So this is the second time we made it, this 2016. We only made 99 cases, so very small production of this. Okay. But the other thing, Ed Cora's, it's that the grapes are highly sought after from other wineries that we sell to, Chapelet, Silver Oak. We've sold to Palmyre in the past, Celia Welch, a number of Camus, number of other great, really who's who.
Very, very noteworthy.
They desire these Ed Cora grapes. So second time we've made it, 15 got a 100-point score, and the 16 we just were awarded with another 100-point score. 17s are also starting to roll out quicker just because we are selling out. So with only 99 cases, we do reserve some to go right behind me in our library room. So the 17s have also been showing quite nice. So this vineyard is really, truly something special. The way it's like an amphitheater that really overlooks the whole Rutherford Bench area as we're looking down at the top of Atlas Peak and looking over Haystack and just right down to the valley floor. So very special area.
Absolutely beautiful. And Diana, previously, if the viewers tonight didn't know, you guys have created a very special chocolate as well that's available at the tasting room. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've been really lucky with some partners that we've harvested along the way so far in 2021, one of which is Philip Ashley Chocolates. And he is out of Memphis, Tennessee, and he actually created a chocolate that has some of our Ed Cora wine in it. The ganache inside the actual red outer shell of this chocolate is made with our Ed Cora wine. So Philip Ashley Ricks, and he's going to be doing a limited edition 50 box of chocolates later this year. And it's going to be a blue box, I believe, with a red cover. It's got the preamble for the Constitution, and each of the 50 chocolates that are white are going to represent a state, which will each have its own individual flavor. And so Philip, about the time that I had contacted him late last year, wasn't sure what to do for California. And so then he decided to do Napa. Mm-hmm. And naturally he chose Acumen. And the other thing about Philip Ashley, is that he has just also been named since September of last year in Oprah's top 10 favorite things. So we're looking to another fun partnership.
That's huge. And the fact that you guys are going to be representing the great state of California. That's amazing. So happy for you guys. And this wine is incredible. I mean,
Yes.
this cab is out of this world, and I know why so many of those top name wineries are seeking the grapes. I wish you would have made 100 cases and not 99, but I guess Chapelet needed some grapes too. But
we have a really great staff here, and Stan Brody, he loves to talk about what he would pair this wine with, and he always, I can just hear it in the back of my head constantly. Ed Cora, the tomahawk steak.
oh yeah.
So, I'd love to hear from, Chili and Chris, your take on what you would like to pair this wine with.
Yeah, Chili, go ahead. I think actually for me, let me just put it this way.
I think Chris is going to go ahead.
I think Chris is
right now. I'm a lamb guy, so lamb for me is something that's kind of a big deal. And my parents were really into lamb, and I feel like this wine has that kind of body texture. Everything's going on inside this glass, and it's really a good lamb pairing, I think.
That is fantastic. Chili, what would you pair this with?
I'm a big cab and steak guy. A nice bone-in ribeye, a bone-in fillet. I would pair this with that and lamb. I mean, I think, I'm drinking this wine and it's fabulous right now, but it has a lot of ageability to it. Would you say I'm correct, Diane? This wine.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big dog.
Yeah, this is a really good one. I mean, talk about the thing that impresses me the most about this cab for high elevation cab is they really did a nice job taming these tannins for, the amount of elevation that we're at, and the dryness and the structure. The tannins are soft, but yet the structure is all there. It's going to be, again, it's only the second time we've made it. So we get to, for sure, 10 years. I'm going to even suggest 20 years to watch this wine.
Wow.
That's the philosophy behind our winemaking all started with Denny Malbec. And, a real sense of what old world wines, meaning European wines, were, styled after. And it's really, it's for the winemaker to kind of just really not mess up what Mother Nature is doing. And it's that taking that real true expression. So by that, with this, that the winemaking style that we get is that old 60s, 70s, and the extraction of fruit. And we'll really easily be able to see this wine age brilliantly over time. Chris,
I'm excited. Oh, yeah, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think, once again, you brought up Magnums, Chili, and I think this would be like a great one to buy the Magnum. And put it away for a while, share it with others. You really have a sense of place inside this glass, and I think it's a really important thing here about this. You're not in Napa Valley, you're above Napa Valley, and I think that's a really important thing that we have to think about with this site and why Atlas Peak is so great. And where this winery is based on. I mean, you can go to the tasting room downtown in Napa, but that's not where these grapes are grown. They are grown up on this hill, and it tastes so good. And it really exemplifies what hillside farming is all about. And that's why it's got this radiance of flavors, but it's got that kind of minerality too that's just delicious.
Yeah. How many appellations are in Napa? 16?
16.
Right, they believe it's 16.
Now,
Yep.
16 ABAs.
Was it Pritchard Hill that just became the 16th?
I don't think Pritchard Hill is a official
Coombsville, somewhere like that.
Coombsville, I believe, is the last one.
The last
Yeah, so
one,
16th.
Yeah.
Atlas Peak is one of the appellations there.
Correct.
Yeah.
And like you said, Chris, mountain vines, just the ability to stress out the grapes, if you really think about, providing water for the grapes and having it run down and not taking in too much water, so it's just all fruit, and you can taste that in this wine. And I think this wine, like Diana says, 10 years. And I mean, a lot of people don't think about laying down a bottle of wine for 10 years. But if you ever do, and I've done that by mistake, not trying to, and you know, in 10 years, you know, say you bought a wine in 2002, and in 2012 you buy the same wine, same vineyard, you have the ability to compare the difference in the climate and how these vines grew their grapes, and I can't even think of the word I'm trying to say, you know.
The terroir?
Yeah, the terroir, and it's the same vines in the same area, but each year you get these different little climates and little things and the vine's getting older and more mature. The character in the grapes and in the juice, you know, and so what I like to do is, you know, buy a 6-pack or something, or a case.
A case is a good way to start.
Yeah, open a bottle. Like, I can't wait to drink this same bottle tomorrow, because it's going to be a completely different wine.
Oh, absolutely. It does. It opens up, it changes. You know, you were just talking about, like, you know, you accidentally laid down a bottle for 10 years. Well, I was just thinking about that, and my husband and I, super producer Jonathan, who's, you know, running this little shindig right now, we bought a case of 97 Reserve Clos de Val a long time ago. And it's been more than 10 years, and we still have 3 bottles left. And so it has been super fun to periodically pull, you know, a bottle out here and there. And when we were going through our wine collection, I was like, wait, I think we have 2 bottles. I'm like, no, we have 3 bottles left. And it's been way longer than 10 years, but it is so fun to open them up every once in a while and just be like, well, what's going on with this? And just how the flavors soften, and other things, as Chris was saying earlier, like other flavors kind of develop. And it is really fun. And I think really what's more fun than just the flavors and exploring the wine is remembering when you've discovered that wine in the first place, because that's really what this is all about, right? It's the relationships and the time and place and the memories that form around it. And I know we're running out of time, and I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I do want to share with everybody about, we were talking about aromas and flavors and all kinds of things. And being in the era of COVID, and, you know, as we mentioned, we're not really able to get out with a large group of people, but I know most of us have carved out our little, what I call a COVID cocoon, for that matter, of people that we do kind of hang out with. And so one thing I like to do are sensory experiences where you can explore those aromas that we were talking about in the wines. And sometimes it's really fun to do. You can almost do it in a scavenger hunt kind of a way, and it's not hard to do. A lot of wineries do this as an actual paid experience, believe it or not. But you can go raid your kitchen, your beauty cabinet, all kinds of things to get aromatics that you might find in wines. And tonight I hit the kitchen and came up with a few jars of goodies. So I found some parsley in the refrigerator. I was cooking with it, so I kind of crunched it up and put it into this jar right here and put that in there. And then I grabbed some beautiful Meyer lemon slices, may or may not be from a tree in St. Helena that I may or may not have actually borrowed a lemon from, but it's right here. And then a little cumin and chili powder. This is actually, what did I go with this one? Chipotle chili powder. It's got a little more depth of fragrance on it than your standard red chili powder. The cumin, of course, and cinnamon. So I got a little cinnamon stick, and I kind of roughed it up because you kind of want to, you know, rough it up to get the fragrance out of it. It's kind of fun. And vanilla. So all of this I just found here in like 5 minutes and created a little setting here in the jars. And what you can do is you can sniff as you go through and kind of smell the fragrance, and then of course your wine.
It's really fun to do that. And like, I actually took a sensory evaluation at Napa Valley College here, and it's the same exact thing, exactly what you're doing, Sarah. And they had them in like little tackle boxes, like, you know, just with those, and we had to go through and write just little bits and just smell, and then go back to your wine, and then be able to write about the wine and what you were able to pick it out. But it's a lot of back and forth. I mean, to get to the experts level, like where Chris is at.
I know, different level altogether entirely, but it's super fun. And it's something you can do. I like kind of creating like the scavenger hunt where you're like, all right, go find like 4 things in your house right now. And you can give people ideas, you know, being on the culinary side, spices, cooking ingredients. And then non-culinary as well, where you can be like, go grab a handful of grass out of your yard and maybe a perfume or, even, gosh, I'm thinking of, Chris, what are some other fragrances that kind of aromatics you get in wine that you may not consider with the food?
Some
Well,
flowers.
I think a lot like sage. Sage is a great one, especially for Napa Valley. It's like
Right.
sage.
Yeah.
I
Wood.
get credit, especially from the Vaca Mountains. Whereas, rosemary is a little bit more of something that I would be associating with my Acumen.
Rosemary biscuits.
But those things are very important. When you start getting into it, and I think that also going a little bit further than that is just talking about different. If you say cherry, it smells like cherry. That's about as generic as you get.
Right.
What cherry is it? Is it a black cherry? Is it a red cherry? Bing cherry? Cherry compote? Everything. So really, I think that all of us have become more of like chefs. And we didn't really have the choice to go around that this past year because we just had to make more food for ourselves. But, I think that every day you can smell some things in your kitchen. And I think this is a great example, Sarah, of exactly what we're talking about. My grandma really taught me about this originally because she said, go get an onion. And there were 3 colors of onions. I didn't know what they were all
And they matter.
told me all about each one of them, and it changed me, and it changed really my perspective. I think that we can all learn a lot of things like that. Even the apples that we buy, especially when we get into like, this amazing Sauvignon Blanc that we were tasting, that's a really good example of something that usually has a green apple, but then there's, sometimes even Pinot Noirs and things like that smell like red apple skins. So, it's great to go through all this stuff. And I think this is a great example, Sarah, what you're talking about. And even learning these profiles of these amazing wines that we're talking about. And you can never learn enough. Let me just say that as a small, for 30 years, I'll never know enough about wine. And I think it goes back to Chile too. And especially one thing that you said, Chile, is about the vintage thing. Each vintage is very different from one another, especially if you have control of your vineyard. That the vineyard is very important, but every vintage is different. And that's why doing these verticals, Diana did a great vertical with us recently, and just tasting the Acumen brand and going through verticals, I'm loving it. And I think that you already love this Chile too, but this is something that we can really enjoy.
Absolutely. And it is fun. It's to be fun.
I have a question for you, and maybe for Chris as well.
Yeah.
And you go to Napa. I've been to Australia. I've been to different wine regions. Does the grape take on some of the flavor or character of the foliage that's grown around it? Like, in Australia, there's a lot of eucalyptus trees around vineyards, and sometimes you can put the wine to your nose and you can smell a little eucalyptus in it. I know in Napa there's a lot of olives and lavenders and spices. In Napa they grow a lot of different vegetables and spices and stuff. Like ad hoc. They grow their own salads in the backyard, in the back. But my question is, does a grape take on the character or the scent or flavor of some of the foliage that's around it? Does it do that?
Absolutely, Chile. I mean, where does it? We don't go out there with a power blower and blow all these leaves away. Where do they go? They're right there. And, when we're talking about Acumen, we're talking about rocks. We're talking about things like that. We're talking about shrubs, like these mountain shrubs that are very different than you look on the other side of the valley, and it is completely forest over there. There's more rock mounds over there. But believe me, all of those factors that's what the earth is doing for that vineyard. It's really unique. It has its own traits. No one has the exact traits as the Acumen properties up on the mountain at all. And, sometimes you have some mushroomy kinds of things. And I think that really you go back to Burgundy and that's kind of how we got this whole idea is because things don't taste alike there at all. They're very, very different. And I think we've done a great job finding these places in Napa Valley. I think that's why these Acumen wines are so impressive, that they don't taste like anyone else's wines. They're delicious, but they have their own qualities, and they really are they just a sense of place.
Absolutely, Chris, that was very, very well said. And and one thing that I will say before we close up here, I know we're heading into the end of the hour here. Speaking of, can wines take on the essence of the foliage around them? And Chris will know this one. The Cundy Magnolia Vineyard Sauv Blanc is magnolia blossoms. It's insane. It is, and that was the first wine that I ever experienced and went, oh my gosh, this is impossible. How do magnolia blossoms from a tree end up in the wine? And it is mind blowing. So if you ever do get the chance, check out that wine. It will open your eyes to how foliage can really affect what's coming into the glass.
Absolutely.
And I'm asking that question because if you've ever been to Atlas Peak, the foliage and the rocks and everything there, it's all a part of that, the growth of those vines and the minerality of those vines, and as important as a winemaker is to a wine, I think the vineyard manager is just as important. Would you agree with me, Diane?
Oh yeah, and our in fact, you kind of queued it up. We just hired a new viticulturist, John Durr, who we're working with Chapelet, but also I want to mention Jesus Gonzalez, who has been with us since 2012, and he lives up there. And we're so organic. That was the one thing I forgot to mention too. And I know we're running out of time, but he actually rides his horses and through the vineyards every day instead of his ATV. And we have goats and sheep on the property, so truly all organic. And those guys just love that land. The viticulturist is just as important as the winemaker. That's where winemaking begins, is out in the vineyard.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you all so much for being here tonight, and everybody at home who's watching, thank you. So let's just get you a quick update on Acumen. They do have a wine dinner coming up in Denver, Colorado at the Atelier by Radix. You can check out their website. You can go to Acumen, or you can just kind of Google at Atelier by Radix and find it there. So Diana will be out and about around the country here pretty soon. So we're excited about that. And she's got some really exciting partnerships for her Red Diamond Club, and those membership features have partnerships with Jack Stack Barbecue, we had on the show not too long ago. Of course, Philip Ashley chocolates that we just talked about, and Fresh Sends, which we will be sharing with you in an upcoming show very soon. So stay tuned for that. Next week, we may or may not be on air, so just check back with us. We're hoping to do a little cooking segment. It should be fun. And then we will be back on schedule. You can just go to CellarPass.com/TV to see all the upcoming episodes. We've got some really, really phenomenal wineries coming up. So we can't wait to sip along with you even more very, very soon. So from all of us here, cheers to you, and have a fabulous, fabulous Thursday night. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And go Mets.
Go Mets.
Love seeing you guys. I miss you.
Thank you, Chili.
Oh,
Chili.
you're just saying that to all the people on camera right now.
Yeah. Can't wait till you come back and visit, Chili. We got to get together after the season's over. Do what you need to do.